I was little, somebody had a talking Viewmaster, and I got to play with it once or twice in the early 70s. That was like one of the coolest things I had ever seen. There was a whole lot to be nostalgic about at the thrift stores this week. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. And come thrifting with me and help me solve some mysteries. This China set says that it is collectible, and they wanted $100 for it. I am so confused because when my husband and I were very first married, we had this set in our kitchen. Now I'm curious. I have no idea where it came from. He had it before we were married, so it was not a wedding gift. We definitely wouldn't have had any kind of special china. And I have absolutely no idea where it went. I don't remember getting rid of it. It's one of those things that you don't think about for decades, and then you see it in the thrift store and you can't get it out of your mind. Does that happen to any of you? This is the most orange couch ever. And growing up, we had some lamps that would have gone with that perfectly. I can't walk past one of these radio consoles without checking it out because I don't know why I like them. And one of these days, I'm going to wind up with one in my home because all three of my sons also like them. But they tend to give them away for free at estate sales and sell them for like $10 at the Goodwill bins. So this one wasn't even that cute and definitely not for $100. I saw needlework kits like this at the coast back in end of October. I keep stumbling across them and I keep repeating to myself that they're kind of ugly and I don't want to stitch them. I just can't figure out why there are so many of them. The other store did have multiples, and these are both St. Vincent's, so maybe they're moving them from store to store in an attempt to sell them, or the world is just full of them. A few weeks ago, this same store had this same milk glass in a cabinet under lock and key. Nobody seems to be in a hurry to buy it. Here's some more of those cut glasses that my grandma had when I was growing up. They still make me smile every time I see them, and lately I see them in every thrift store I set foot in. But if I was picking out glasses not for the nostalgia factor, I think these might be the ones that I would go with. I am going to get myself a milk glass lamp. There was one similar to this but far cuter that I didn't buy a while back, and I'm going to regret that until I find the perfect one. Once upon a time, I thought a roll top desk would have been just the best thing ever, and now that I'm an adult and I could buy one, apparently I've changed my mind. It's a good thing the boys were not with me because they would have loved this whatever massive dresser it is, and I'm not big on painting antique furniture, but this blue set is pretty cute. And oh, looking at the knobs, I hope that doesn't match the stuff that I've got in one of our bedrooms, but it might be the same set. Zippers, but they're the heavy metal kind, and oh, I have got enough zippers to keep me going for a long time. The craft sections this trip were just not at all exciting. I went through that week where I found tons of vintage needlework kits, and now there's nothing, not even stuff that doesn't appeal to me. It's just picked over, nobody's donating anything. I cannot walk past a black velvet painting without stopping and touching it and confirming that it is black velvet. I do not want a black velvet painting, except maybe that green pirate ship from a while back. Dollar Tree decor at Goodwill, and they're charging $1 for it. I don't think this is Goodwill. I think this is somewhere else. And tell me if you've seen one of these. It is wood tone plastic with seeds and grain glued on it. I have never seen one of these, and now I'm curious whether this was mass produced for sale the way that it is, or was it a crafting fad I somehow missed? I thought she was a cat, and then I saw something, thought she was something else, and then I finally figured out that she was a bear. She's cute and her dress is frilly. These two have got to have a story behind them. They're matching piggy banks with different initials on them. So, who made them? Who did they give them to? And how did they wind up donated to the thrift store together? I have a feeling there's a backstory, and I have a feeling that I wouldn't like the backstory if I knew what it was. But we're not getting worried about how things wound up in the thrift store. I checked the back of this mother and baby. I don't know if I was hoping for an inscription or the back or hoping that there wasn't one, but there wasn't one. The craft section at this store too was sad and the barest that I've seen it. I find stuff at this store just often enough to keep me going back and looking. So $2.99 for a plastic storage container with, I think, a couple of itty bitty spools of thread in it. I don't know who was doing their pricing. This one is $4.95 for a plastic organizer with maybe a dozen beads in it that sure look plastic to me. The wooden spools are nice, but I have a lot of wooden spools and I could get better prices at an estate sale. I'm finding resin cottages again now that I've got that out of my system. And tell me what you think. Are the bottom two drawers from a different dresser? I think they are, and if they are, I think that is absolutely genius. I'm not sure that I think it is $89.99 worth of genius, but it's smart. My grandma had this guy when I was growing up. Her version was about half the size, had the same pedestal. It is the same. Is he a historical figure? Does anyone know what this guy is? A couple of years ago, we found one, maybe a third this size, that somebody had wired into a lamp. And I should have bought him. We went back looking for him, but by that point, he was long gone. Thanks for thrifting with me.